It was a dark and stormy mystery. Hi everyone, my name is Philip, and welcome to Murder by Murder, using the patented Christie system. That, if I'm being honest, is not patented. I'm your parlor master this game on account of murder mysteries, and surrounding me are a bunch of players who, probably based on these comments thus far, wish that they had never shown up at that comic book store about 4 or 5 years ago to
oh my god, it's been that long.
Start playing D&D. So let's talk about murder mysteries, everyone. This is a game that uses a system that we created for this called the Christie system. It's really a pretty like RP heavy system. All you're ever trying to do on the rare occasions you roll dice is that you are going to try to roll a 5 or higher, and based on the size of the dice you have, it can become easier or harder to do. We were off last week, and this is already a game that really kind of like taxes the mind mentally. So I am going to provide a, hopefully not too lengthy, a recap of what has happened so far in our story. We have joining us tonight, guests at Course Court on Gin Island off the south coast of Devon. Among them is Miss Sybil Wilson. Say hello, Sybil.
Oh.
Sybil Wilson is a not quite an heiress. She her mother has married into a
Eris adjacent.
heiress adjacent. Yeah. She is American. She is a society fixture in London and has been invited down to the weekend. We also have Lord Reginald Huntington Smythe, who is here in absentia. Another sort of man about town and such. We have the Baroness Sophia Esterhaus from the Kingdom of Hungary. We have Dr. Austin Gordon of Oxford University. And we have the immortal Ivan, who has subsequently been also referred to as John Steinberg.
Yes.
Because that's what his name is. Because it's not immortal Ivan, that's an act. These individuals were invited along with a gentleman named Tom Slickett to Corse Court, which is not the Corse sort of like their primary residence, but a sort of an interesting home on an island off the coast. The rooms of this house are named after Greek deities. There is also up on the top floor a chamber called Hades with a large cantilevered balcony protruding out the back of the house over the rocky beaches. Foreshadowing. The group arrived here in different waves. A few of them came on an early boat, just barely beating some inclement weather. Another couple of them came on a pretty rocking boat. I think that was the Doctor, Immortal Ivan, and Slickett. They arrived after sort of the weather had gone a bit crazy, but they made it somewhat safely. Everyone then came to the house, were shown to their rooms. They heard a few recriminations between members of the house, which includes the numerous children of the most honorable Lord Joseph Corse, the Marquess of Plymouth. We have, do you guys hear that? Okay, never mind. That was just, I think, there's some kids in my building, and they run up the stairs so fast, and sometimes everything in my kitchen shakes. But enough about my building. Let's talk about this fictional one. We have Alicia Fuller, who married Theobald Fuller, the eldest child of Lord Joseph Corse. Their daughter Odette is a friend of Sybil, and she was not invited to this weekend. Next up, we have Vivian Corse. Vivian seemingly had a love in her life, but he died mysteriously the day of her wedding. Next, we have Gladys Corse. Gladys Martin, rather. She married a man named Roy Martin. We're not really sure what happened there, but we don't think she's a widow. And nobody knows where Roy is. At least as far as we know, nobody knows where Roy is. Then we have the youngest, by a fair margin. That is Lord Joseph Joey Corse. Who, because of sort of quirks of, quirks of long time childbearing years and such, and early starts is really what it comes down to, is around the same age as Odette. So though he is her uncle, they are equivalent ages, both friends with Sybil and Reginald as well, for that matter. Sybil was a little confused upon being here to learn that she was being placed in a high room on the top floor, a room called Nemesis. When she went in, she found no statue. The others found little statues representing their deity in their chambers. Dinner occurred. Drinks before dinner occurred, because God, this went on a long time. Everyone looked at a statue of a creature called Le Terrasse d'Avignon, which is this grotesque jade carving covered in various jewels and gems. Seems extremely valuable. Then out the window, Tom Slickett was being kind of weird to the Doctor and asking what the old man has on him, implying that he suspected everyone was here because they were being blackmailed. Dr. Gordon was like, back off, brah. Then they saw a crash outside as a car flipped over, trying to drive quickly in the rain. several of the gentlemen went out to investigate, not the immortal Ivan, because the makeup takes too long to reapply. They managed to get both a driver, whose name was Arthur. No. Shit. Yes, his name is Arthur. Sorry. Whew. Sometimes I don't remember people's names in these games after 2 weeks. The driver's name was Arthur. It took a while for anyone to ask him what his name was. He was driving rapidly because Odette Fuller, who had not been invited, the granddaughter of Lord Corse, daughter of Alicia, friend of Sybil and Reginald, and, niece of old little Lord Joey. First Verdane. Queen of the Roynar. So she fell into the water because she came on a third boat that was even more treacherous than the second boat that was treacherous for a couple of people. Upon her arrival, she fell in the water. So Arthur was trying to speed her here, but he crashed. So she was brought in. The doctor saw to her, saw to Arthur, saw to Alicia, who fainted upon seeing Odette arrive. Amidst all this hubbub, Lord Corse finally made his appearance, saying, well, she wasn't invited, so let's have dinner. What then followed was a thoroughly delightful dinner full of nice conversation and pleasant times. That is an incorrect assessment. What followed was a really uncomfortable dinner in which Lord Corse basically probably went a little too far into making it so that no one would care if he was murdered. Foreshadowing. So, as Lord Corse proceeded to insult and cajole everyone at the table, making everyone uncomfortable, the group did pick up on a few interesting dynamics here. They noticed people kind of looking at Slicket, who was being very intense. He eventually stormed out. They noticed that when Lord Corse heard about the idea between the Baroness and... Oh, I didn't even mention Lord Corse's wife, Lady Amelia, who talks like... So Lady Amelia is very good friends with the Baroness, and she really enjoys the acting of, or the performances of the immortal Ivan in more ways than one. As the Marchioness... the Marchioness and the Baroness kind of were suggesting they do a seance. Immortal Ivan was like, oh, cool, so I'm really working this weekend. Great. Lord Corse then very cruelly insisted they do it that night, and he wanted to contact the ghost of Vivian's intended gentleman, Severin Dooley, who died the day of her wedding. Under mysterious circumstances. He said very mocking, cruel things to this second child of his. He also made mean, was suggesting Reginald should marry her, and he's like asking how much that would cost or whatever. He's a real cool guy. I miss him. At this point, the seance occurred. Reginald stepped away, as did Gladys Martin. They went off to parts unknown, because we have a rule in this game that unless I choose to break the rule, I never show any single individual alone for alibi reasons. At this time, a seance was conducted. Ivan did a great job of the performance, but refused to indulge the cruel depredations of this man. Instead, kind of just doing a run-of-the-mill thing of various servants who died here, though he did mention that the Baroness's beloved Laszlo stayed close to her, and such. At this point, after this cruel evening, Sybil went up to check on Odette. I think Alicia may have gone with you at the time, or maybe the doctor went, but you went up to check on Odette. Odette seemed okay. You asked Odette why it was that she was sort of not going to be here this weekend. Why it is she had sort of come saying against her mother's wishes, maybe slightly too much, but why she had not been expected. She explained that she was meant to be spending time with Brian McDowell, a young man, son of Seamus McDowell, a very wealthy sort of nouveau riche shipping magnate. And she was supposed to be spending time with him. You got the impression she didn't really want to spend much time with old Brian, with old Bry guy, with old B-Rye. But perhaps her mother was encouraging that. plot points. But most importantly, that happened in that session, it was determined that sitting with Odette all night would be Margaret Circle, the round maid. Her name is Margaret Circle. Because shapes.
She's round.
I mean, circles are round. I don't know. People said, I don't know. People said sometimes they say that the names you come up with on the spot are the best names of all. And in the case of Margaret Circle,
That sure is a name.
all right. So anyway, go ahead, please.
Whenever I hear the name Margaret Circle, I forget the name of the artist, but I think of those paintings that are just like famous paintings, but fat and round. You know what I'm trying to say? Just,
I understand.
just like comically round.
Like a funhouse mirror.
Yeah.
Sybil went into her room. She was alone, but we revealed this anyway. Sitting on the plinth where no statue of Nemesis would be was now Le Terrasse d'Avignon. Ooh. Then, the next morning, a body was on the shore. The body of Lord Corse, who'd been pushed or jumped, as things will become clear in a moment, from his high cantilevered balcony up on the third floor of a room called Hades. At this point, we got into the previous session we played. So that's just the first 3 sessions before murder. And I don't know that I told you everything you need to remember, guys. Because there's a lot of fucking characters. I didn't talk about the scene where Gladys said to Sybil, like, I don't want to stay a Nemesis. And Sybil was like, you don't want vengeance on your enemies? And she was like,
Well,
and
now you
various
brought it
other from various people. Did anybody think of anything
There's a lot of
important?
ooms.
Yeah. Did I forget anything important in any of those scenes we've talked about so far?
Probably, but let's keep
Probably,
on
but
going.
so it goes. The next session, a big sort of clamor rang up the next morning as the staff discovered a body. Then my players got mad at me for the body that had been discovered was in fact the body of Tom Slickett, up on the 3rd floor in the Grand Gallery. Dr. Gordon, Sybil, and Mortal Ivan went up there. I think Baroness was too busy sitting on a fainting couch. Reginald was still sleeping. But basically, at this point, we sort of started doing some inspection of the body. Do you guys remember the condition of Tom Slickett? I can just keep talking, but if any of the people who went up there and investigated would like to.
Was stabbed
What do you
in
mean?
the upper chest,
Hella stab.
somewhere around close to the neck, and was very bloody.
And damp.
And
There
then
was a pearl handle protruded from under his clavicle. It seemed like he had been outside in the rain. Up here in the Grand Gallery, it seemed based on the rigor mortis that is set in, the doctor assumes he died between midnight and 2 a.m. Fair amount of blood means he probably bled out in this spot. You see no signs that the body was moved here. Sybil found a scrap of blank paper in his hand. And smaller pieces kind of spread amongst the blood. Dr. Gordon was like, oh, wow. You're not passing out. Like, that's why you have a strong constitution for a woman. Then she threw up. Ivan had a little chat with the Marchioness. And he managed to, but he was on his way there. He caught Baroness Sophia just in time as she fainted. Remember that? That was pretty funny. He succeeded on a luck. She recuperated for a moment alone in the study. Ivan, however, spoke to the Marchioness, and she wanted him to check on everyone else in the house, you know, all the kids, everyone, just make sure everyone's okay. So he went to tell it to the staff, but he also sort of wanted to tell her, like, did you hear those voices arguing last night as I was leaving your room? And she was like, don't tell anyone you were leaving my room last night. Because her room on the 1st floor, which for us is the 2nd floor, but the British call it the 1st floor. The room on the 1st floor, Zeus, is her room, but apparently, though that is sort of what they'd call the master suite, it is not the room of Lord Corse. Ooh, plot thickens. What's his room? So, yep. The police couldn't be fetched for a while because it's a murder mystery story. So the guests have to solve the crime. The butler was the butler was told to bring the body to the wine cellar. He got footmen to do that, but he then tried to check on Lord Corse, at which point Sybil and Dr. Gordon were like, okay, this is kind of weird. Sybil figured out that he's not in Zeus. He lives up here. Lord Corse let them know that room used to be open to everyone, and he had to convert it into a suite because he wanted the balcony all to himself. Because he's a really nice, he's such a cool guy. Sybil then realized that last night she revealed to everyone that she had this odd sensation of like a shadow falling past her window. She got a bad vibe. She went into the room. She sees a massive statue of Hades, a bed unslept in, sitting area, bar, doors leading to the balcony. She noted water stains right on the inside of the door to the balcony. She then went out. She and the doctor went out at the dizzying view in the rain. It was kind of like scary holding on the railings, but they did see a dark form on the rocks below. So with that, everyone gathers in the sitting room, as per the request of the Marchioness, to sort of deal with this new horrifying realization. Sybil was in the process of stopping at her own room for some purpose. She was actually fetching her invitation to the weekend. Odette was trying to come out of her room. She wanted to talk about something. Sybil helped her get downstairs. The doctor lets everyone know that he he has heard this. He saw it, so he lets everybody know that Slicket and Lord Corse are both dead. He asks Sybil for more clarification on that shadow she saw fall. She tells him she thought she dreamt it around midnight. Gladys whispered Nemesis to herself. Joey became like a real cool non-reactionary person and kind of rustled Reginald into going to tie up Arthur the driver, because he was a stranger, and since he's not like he's not a classy guy, he's probably the murderer of his father and some other stranger. The Baroness remarked that Lord Joey is now the heir. The Marchioness confirmed that the Marquess is a hereditary title, so yes, he would now be the Marquess of Plymouth. She kind of confirmed that, but it sort of seemed, everyone's clearly very upset. Alicia was particularly upset that Odette was witnessing all of this. What's that about? The doctor goes out to look at Lord Corse's body. Alicia was there. He kind of climbed down. The storm was raging. It's possible the body washed around the rocks, but based on a sort of early sort of look at things, the doctor didn't think that Lord Corse was pushed off that balcony. He thinks he must have like been out on one of the long projecting cantilevered sort of like things. He thinks he must have climbed out there. Or been out there because you couldn't have pushed him off the balcony, so he suspects the man might have jumped. But he says he kind of admits it's probably impossible to be sure in this thing, but that is a part of the clue. Everybody gathered for a light breakfast. People posited various theories. Could the guys have killed each other? Could they have Could someone have killed both of them? Or these independent murders? Who knows? Sybil kind of surreptitiously determined that the scrap of paper she found in Slicket's hand, a sort of corner of the paper, is the exact same paper that her invitation to this weekend was written on. So she wonders if maybe Slicket was holding his invitations, but he ripped it out of his hand before or while killing him. Before, while, or after killing him. Joey and Reginald returned. They tied up the driver upstairs. Ivan was actually very disappointed with the knot work. He found out it's like a child could have gotten out of those ropes.
It was really subpar.
Indeed. Joey, however, noted that there was a bloody invitation in the servants' room where they had put Arthur suffering from his concussion last night. A bloody invitation made out to Slicket, but with no missing corner. Sybil looked it over, and she felt there were veiled statements in the invitation, implying that Slicket was not who he claimed to be. The doctor dismisses the possibility based on the fact that Arthur is like trying to get over a concussion and still seems disoriented this morning. You know, since 2 men busted into his room and tied him up. The doctor really doubts that this guy is the murderer. Sybil confirms Ivan is John Steinberg, but he asks them to keep calling him Ivan around the Duchess. Joey is floored. They come downstairs bringing Arthur with them. Many possibilities are presented. Is it possible Slickett killed Corse? Sybil and Gordon want to know about the blackmail that has been alluded to on a few occasions. Alicia mentions that she's often suspected her father would engage in blackmail, not so much for money, but just to like be a really cool guy who just kind of has fun. Just some mind games. Sybil asks Odette what it is she was going to mention, what she wanted to say coming down here, but Odette says nothing. She says it wasn't anything. Gordon proposes a few possible actions moving forward. He wants to inspect the bodies more thoroughly. They have both now been moved down to the wine cellar. He says Slickett's room needs to be searched so they can find out who he really is if he is not who he said. And last, they want to find out if there actually is blackmail material that Lord Corse had on people and if it's kept here as proof or as damning evidence. People feel a little weird about that one, but they sort of understand why he's suggesting it. Sybil helps Odette go up back to Nick's. People sort of are leaving the dining room, although the Marchioness and her daughters Gladys, Alicia, and Vivian remain behind. So since there were multiple people there, none of you were there, but it's a scene you will get to hear about. They reference if they should tell everyone who Slickett is, but the Marchioness said no. There's nothing to learn about that. There's no reason at this point. So my recap for the 4th session was literally to kind of just walk you through the recap that I posted 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to be honest, it helped me.
Don't like the episodes.
I forget if we mentioned that we were made aware that we weren't the only ones who knew that Slickett's real name wasn't actually Slickett, somebody else, or like that wasn't his real name.
You were not present when they fully confirmed that, but Sybil has said, based on the note she found that somebody put in Arthur's room, that she suspects.
Objection, hearsay.
Objection, sustained. Sustained. So with that, my friends and neighbors, I have talked a lot. I know the doctor has a specific plan. So first of all, the doctor has proposed 3 courses of action. One is probably for him, although I suppose if a person really wanted to join him for that or confirm that would happen, I'm sure there will be footmen down there, so we will cover it on stream. So task 1, that the doctor has, guys, the doctor wrote you a prescription for 3 tasks. Task 1, look over the bodies. Task 2, search Slickett's room. Task 3, look for blackmail material.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Don't forget to do the wires, the med bay scan.
Med bay scan. Is anyone? I think that as this has been sort of provided, the ladies of the house, they're all kind of going to actually remain. Odette is upstairs with Margaret Circle. Alicia, Gladys, Vivian, and the Marchioness. They're going to sit things out as they deal with the sort of tragedy that's befallen their family. Lord Joey and Reginald will assist.
Tragedy is a strong word.
They're calling it tragedy, but they're kind of like, it's such a tragedy.
Polite way of saying it.
They should probably send a missive over to if there's like a constable over in the.
I was just going to suggest it, yeah.
Hey,
You could.
We're adults here who actually understand.
If you ask about this, Norman will say, there is no constable on the island. There is no law enforcement. The village is very small. There is no. There's the island is under the directive of like Devon. So like there are like, you know, Devon police would come out for such things. But there's no constable active.
That's too
on the
bad. We
island.
know how much you like making NPCs.
Well, okay. Do you guys? So how I will mention, however, to we'll say that you guys have. We'll say you've all walked out this. They had their weird words here. You know they're not going to participate. So basically, walking out of the room is. I assume you send Arthur back up to his.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say that after a few moments of stuff, Sybil, you've come downstairs, having gotten her into bed. Unless you didn't, if you wanted to go off and do stuff by yourself, text me. But if you come down somewhat directly, Arthur has been sent back to bed. Odette has been sent to bed. So we have Sybil, Ivan, the Baroness, the Doctor, Reginald, and Joey are all currently out here. Joey kind of, you know, has suggested he's kind of like, no, if I'm the man of the house, I suppose I need to sort of help out. I still think we've caught our man, but if you don't think it's him, I'll play along with other investigations, of course. But I'm the man of the house, so I have to. If you ask Norman, the butler, who will kind of come and sort of see to all of you. Sybil, you may be walking in halfway through this after you sort of made sure Odette was okay. If you're asking Norman about law enforcement, a constable, he will be explaining what I just said, that there is no like active constable on the island. That being said, there is a no role required. He kind of like has like a almost says something, but then sort of doesn't.
I mean, there's some eccentric guy just in the village hanging out that happens to be really good at solving mysteries, right?
Oh no, sir,
Yes,
not,
interesting facial hair.
no. That is not the vibe, sir. As it happens, I don't want to think things are too unsafe here. There is there are a couple of gentlemen in the village who sort of, I've heard a term from America called the Neighborhood Watch. He kind of nods to Sybil as she comes. They fancy themselves. They've read a lot of stories of the cowboys.
Oh no.
Is there any old lady who likes to just bolt her nose into everything?
Yes, I understand the kind you're thinking about. No, this really is sort of a much more rough and tumble sort of village here. We don't have as many there are many old ladies like that in sort of in the Cotswolds, but here not quite so much. But there are a couple of gentlemen in town who sort of see themselves as, for example, if there's ever a fight or a problem, or someone takes something from someone, they use sort of physical intimidation to keep the peace. So if you're concerned, and he's like, you know what? Make a what the fuck do we call it in this game? Make an intuition roll.
D6. 1. I can't figure out what the heck
He's making weird faces. Baroness, you can make one too.
D6, right?
A D8 for you. It's a D8 for you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking of. Yeah, these sound like a bunch of hooligans.
It's a 6.
A 6. Yeah, Sophia, you get the sense that he's telling you this because he's asked, and there have been murders, but he doesn't seem keen to have these people in this house.
Murders, like how many, like in the past, like how many years?
No, last night, Miss Wilson.
There were two.
There were 2 murders.
Oh, I
last
thought you
night.
were saying like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, Norman, I think you are very correct. There is no room for such ruffians in such fine house as this.
He'll sort of say, if you at some point believe there is any,
Well, if you need somebody beaten up, sure, certainly.
if you believe there is a dangerous individual around and know who it is and need help apprehending them, I believe these gentlemen would actually be quite good at such a thing.
I trust your judgment, Norman.
But you guys get the impression these are not investigators.
No, they are not gentlemen detective. We don't.
They're not gentlemen detectives. They are I mean, honestly, bring them up. They're cool dudes. But like their detective style is to get beaten up a lot and then to beat the guy up at the very end.
Gumshoes? Okay.
Yeah, they're ruffians.
They're really gumshoes, is what they are. They're just a couple of gumshoes. So,
I'll just say, well, fine. Still doesn't solve that we have potentially potentially a murderer amongst us. So, don't be alone with another person.
good advice for us all in this time. Well, the bodies are ready for you in the wine cellar whenever you're ready to see them.
All right.
Let me know if you need anything. So I guess it is the four of you plus Reginald and Joey. The doctor, you have suggested 3 tasks. Who is doing what at this time? And of course, you don't have to do anything, or you can just kind of run off into, or you can go off on your own and text me weird stuff. It's all fun. Yeah. But is anyone going with the doctor for the as somebody in my family once wrote a long time ago in a game of Balderdash, for the auto spies?
Auto spies?
Oh,
Autopsy?
did not have that's autopsy.
No, it was there's this game called Balderdash where what you do is you like write a fake thing. So there's this thing where you're given a movie title and everyone has to come up with the log line for the movie. And like somebody, and it was like they were a kid at the time, so it was just funny. Like they wrote like a doctor's performing an auto spy and saw, and it was kind of like, how'd you know that word in the first place? So the point is, if you're going to go look at the autopsies, if anybody wants to go with the doctor, also doctor, and please, if anybody ever wants to pull Reginald and or Joey with them, they can do so. Doctor, are you going to take that on your own?
I don't necessarily think anyone else has medical training unless someone wants to be a nurse, whatever
He
their
is-
future.
Ivan is far too squeamish for an
Yeah,
autopsy.
Joey will not volunteer. So yes, if you'll go do that alone, some footmen will have to be your assistant for that. So the doctor will go off to do that. Is anyone going to go look in Slickett's room?
I'm sort of imagining what happens if I bring Margaret Circle down with me.
You are my friend.
Let's
an
not
RPG.
imagine that timeline.
I cannot guarantee that will happen, but you are 100% within your rights and abilities to go ask Margaret Circle to come down to be your nurse.
No.
If you want to hear some normal responses to things, you should definitely do that.
Somebody from the kitchen could do it.
Chef.
Not a chef. They have other
What is on the menu today is
kitchen maids,
murder. Yeah.
Oh, they have a French chef. That's nice.
They don't have a French chef. They're all French to me.
Just footmen will do for me.
All right, so the doctor will go
Stop
downstairs. Is anyone going to go look at Slickett's room? The Immortal Ivan will go to Slickett's room. Reginald and Joey will join you.
Quick question.
Yes, Sybil.
The the Hades room that the Marcus was sleeping in, was that also just like his study? Like, was that just his like everything room, or
There was a sort of study up there. Yes, there was.
Yes, suspect that's his real private sanctum up there.
Yeah, I'm going to that
Yeah,
room.
I'm going to.
All right. So, very good. So we have 3 places. We have tasks 1, task 2, task 3. Would you like me to roll a d6, or would one of you like to do so?
You do it.
All right.
Go for
I'm
it.
going to go in the order of presented by the doctor. 1 or 2 will go to the doctor. 2 and 3 will go to Ivan and the boys. 5 or 6
Wait.
we will go.
The boys.
But
Oh no.
me and the Baroness can't just go, me and her, because it's just the 2 of us. Like, it has to be at least 3 people if you're not alone.
Well,
Right? We just said we couldn't go in
but
pairs
everybody
because
knows where
That was my
Well, everybody
suggestion
is
because
bid.
who knows who could be the murderer.
Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't want. I see. So you don't want any
I'm not
2
saying-
people alone. I see.
yeah.
I don't see the point for that, because if we go off together, one of us gets murdered, obviously the other one is the murderer. So
Are we doing the clue thing? Yeah, but I'll be dead.
yeah, let's do the clue thing.
Well, in that case, Sybil, you could ask the ladies about if any of them would accompany you up. Basically, Marchioness, Alicia, Gladys, or Vivian. You could ask if somebody would accompany you upstairs.
No, none of them. None of them. Never mind.
Would you like to? There are staff around, so if you guys want random.
No, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Okay, so Sybil and Baroness will go upstairs. So
I don't want
everyone
Margaret
get
Circle
ready.
either.
There's about to be one fewer player. in the game.
If anybody gets murdered, it's gonna be the doctor. He went off alone.
Yeah, he's
No, Ivan's
surrounded.
going alone too.
He's
He
surrounded
doesn't have
by.
Market Circle with him?
Yeah, no, he declined Margaret Circle, but there are between the footmen and the kitchen maids, he'll have plenty of people around him. Ivan, you and the guys are gonna go to Slicket's room. Slicket is in which room? Philip can tell you. Jesus fucking Christ. There's so many things. Slicket is in Dionysus. Dionysus is a room
I have
first
to say
floor.
something really quick.
on the second floor. Yes.
When we started this game, it was a non-issue for me.
Okay.
But last week I started playing the video game Hades, and now every time you say one of these names, I picture
Yeah.
just
The
the
really, really
characters.
hot version from
Yes.
Hades? Yeah.
And it's like, so when you're like, oh yeah, the statue of Hades, I'm like, well, it doesn't seem like a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, It's
Okay.
it's maddening.
I can take on a lot. Can't take that on. Can't take
I'm not-
responsibility for that.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
not
understand.
No, it is specifically your
Saying-
fault, though.
I'm not saying anything. It's just now
You
everything's
should
hot.
be playing. You should be playing Stray.
I already did.
How was it?
It was good.
Oh, never mind.
4 hour long game. We can finish it in a night. Anyway.
It's 8:11. I still
We haven't done anything.
haven't rolled this dice to see who's going.
Then go ahead.
We move at a breakneck pace as always.
Yeah, it's our usual speed. What are you complaining about?
So, as the group split off,
The split up game.
the doctor goes down with Footman, but we will first follow Ivan, Joey, and Reginald as they head up to the second floor. So actually, Ivan, Joey, Reginald, Sybil, and Baroness, they all go upstairs. They pass the first floor. They get to the second floor. Sybil, you're like, oh, that's my room right over there. Well, we're going up. But they
Do we
go...
have locks, by the way? Like, can we lock our rooms? We're not in them.
You can, in fact.
Okay, Sybil would have locked her room.
You would probably have to ask Norman for a key, but he'll...
Oh, so we weren't given the keys when we were taken to our rooms or anything like that.
Make a luck roll. Typically, you would not have been handed it all, like, without requesting, but we'll see if you had already done it.
No, I got a 1.
Then yes. You don't have it, but you know that you could certainly ask if you now feel unsafe. No one would bat an eye at that.
Now if I... okay, then yes.
Okay. As you guys are breaking up, then in that case, Baroness Sybil, it takes a few moments before you go up, but he will bring you a key. So we will now, however, go to Ivan, Reginald, and your boy, Joey, as the three of you go to Slicket's room. Joey kind of is acting a little squirrely as you guys first arrive there. But he's like, well, yes, I'm happy to help, and Reginald's kind of being sort of quiet, and we'll see what he says next time he's here. So Ivan, the door stands closed in front of you. You're on the landing. This is one floor above your room. And specifically, this room, Dionysus, is directly above Ares, which is not the room you are in. It's the room that, help me out if anybody knows, The doctor's in. There we go. So,
Right.
Joey's like, do you want me to open the door?
I mean, it is your house now. Why not?
I doubt it's my house.
You're the man of the house, are you not?
Well, the man of the family, more specifically, but this is not the main family house, you know.
Of course. I should not have assumed. I open the door.
Okay. Reginald gives him a look like... It's Ghostbusters. Reginald gives him a look where it's like, if somebody says, are you the man of the house? You say yes. So as you guys, as you enter the room, you see Slicket's bedroom. The bed is unmade. The room is unkempt. You get the impression that somebody kind of probably... You get the impression that the staff were told not to go into this room once they knew what had happened. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You
So it
said the
hasn't
bed was
changed
unmade.
The bed is unmade. It's like the bed is like all kind of like shall we say there's a lot of stuff on it. It's not like slept in, but it's like it's like open cases and things. It looks to you, you can make rolls to be more specific about this, but you have a strong sense that someone has already looked through all of this man's property. Several sort of cases flung open, sort of like on the bed, the covers askew, the covers even having been like pulled up in places. So it
looks
doesn't
like
look
we're
like
not
somebody
the first
slept.
here.
Oh, you think someone's already, oh,
Well, unless Mr. Slicket was extraordinarily messy. No, I think someone was here.
well, that's sort of a problem. So, what would you like to do, Ivan? I've sort of told you what you see. If you're just going to kind of look around the cases and stuff, you're certainly welcome to do that. But if you
I would like to look around the cases.
understood, you go through the cases.
Being who I am, also, I would check for like hidden compartments and things like that. Just
good
like
plan.
yeah.
In that case, I would like for you, go ahead, because we'll say this is like it's a physical thing. It's in like the muscle memory of sliding your hands, looking for latches and things. Give me an escape artist roll. So that's you roll D12 and you roll 2 of them.
7 then a 10. So aha point, right?
You get an aha point. Now, so, and oftentimes what I do in a situation like this is that, you do in fact find in his valise a false bottom.
His what?
Valise, it's like a carrying
That's
case.
just bag.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like
His
a
man purse.
Not a man purse, a valise. It's they always talk about it in the Agatha
It's a
Christie
satchel.
things.
Indiana Jones had it.
It's like a I don't know, like a suitcase or something, right? It's like those suitcases that are like I don't care. Google valise.
I don't know how to spell it.
Oh, that's a really guys, I'm so sorry.
Valise.
E. Yes, correct. Valise. Valise. I also now really want to meet a woman named Valise. And I'll say, Valise,
What is this purse?
they're boxier. Listen, the point being, Immortal Ivan, at the bottom of his valise, you find a false panel. You are able to sort of activate it very, very casually. Here's the thing. It is empty, and you feel that somebody's already found it. However, as you are playing around with it, you notice that the false bottom, in addition to kind of hiding a little section, the leather on it can be folded up, and you do in fact reach up there and notice there is some kind of paper within the valise.
Has anybody noticed that I found this?
Ah. Do you know, in other words, do Reginald and Joey notice?
Right.
If you are trying to be, make
I would
another
like to sleight of hand.
make a misdirection for this then. Yes.
Misdirection, yes.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
Okay.
That's the condition.
An 8 and a 5.
An 8.
Another aha point then.
Yeah, you're really racking those up, so you should use those at later points. But with that,
Is that just for more clues or?
it's just you're getting more aha points. So you can either add them to rolls,
Okay, right.
or you can, if you're ever stuck, you can sort of spend them on insights.
Yeah.
So far, no one's ever asked for an insight.
I would like to just kind of hold the bag as if I'm still looking for it and open the paper and read it.
Understood. You're kind of holding the bag like this, but actually kind of finding the paper.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Like making noise, like I'm rummaging through the bag to hide the sound of the paper opening and things.
Wonderful. The paper is actually 2 pieces of paper. The first is a marriage license. Filled out, but never signed. The groom, a man named Thomas Moore. The bride, Alicia Corse. The date, approximately 24 years ago.
How old is Odette?
22, I think we said.
Yep.
Oh. Alicia's name's Alicia Fuller, isn't it? She married someone else.
Correct.
I'm looking at the family tree thing right here. Yeah.
Interesting. She
So,
said she was divorced, right?
it is a and of course none of you know this, and
But
Ivan
the paper's not signed, so
Ivan very well
How
may.
old is Joey? How old is Joey?
Joey's about 22.
Hmm.
But so yes, Ivan, you find this. That is the first. That is the first paper. The second is a note in a hand. Feminine, crisp. And it simply says, I won't be there. A.
Alicia's here, right?
She's here.
I'm gonna pocket these.
Understood. With your roll, I will say you can do so without any difficulty. Is there anything else you wish to do in this room?
Yes. Are there other places I can look besides the cases, like under the bed and things like that? Or
I'm gonna say that with kind of no roll required, you looked all the obvious
I
places.
found the clue.
it's you found a thing because you wanted to check for false bottoms. That was why you were doing the thing. You looked through everything and didn't see anything. It seems like somebody else looked through everything, was even like upturned, like the covers have been pulled off the bed. They were checking in there. So someone's done it. You look everywhere. You kind of find nothing but normal material. But you have found something that you suspect someone did not find. So with that, shall we turn away from you guys for now, or any other things you want to do?
You can. I think I've done my thing for now.
Well, I've done my part. That's my contribution to the war effort. All right.
Here is done. But you haven't done it.
So then we'll do, on a high roll, we'll go high to Hades. On a low roll, we'll go down to the Metabay.
We go down to Hades.
Go down to the other Hades. Doctor, we go to you next.
Hooray.
All right. Good, Doctor. Who is this? Freddie Highmore? Because we got a real good doctor over here. Freddie Highmore, that's that actor's name, right? I said it right?
I don't know who this actor is.
There's a CBS procedural called The Good Doctor, and it's got a kid named Freddie Highmore as the actor in it. Don't worry about me. So I've never seen the show. I just know it exists. Doc, you got 2 bodies. No waiting. Go ahead and roll a medical knowledge. It's just, like let's have you roll. You're gonna get a bunch of information. Let me just tell you if I'm giving you everything.
6 and 1, so pass, but not double pass.
Pass, but you don't get an aha point. As KJ would put it, you have a C. You did not get an A+. You are not top of the class.
How dare.
How dare. Quoting KJ. All right, so as you, Dr. Gordon, which body would you like to look at first?
Let's see. I've already inspected Slicket's a bit, so I'll take a closer look at Corse's body.
Corse's body. You look over Corse. Norman, I'm actually going to make a roll for Norman here on a d6 to see if he has the stomach to stay for this, or if he's sending in 2 young men. He rolls a 2, so he is in there, not in the room. So you are here with 2 dudes. And tell you what, roll for me, Doctor, a luck roll.
Luck roll is a d6 for me.
Just a d6.
4. Do I want to use aha point? Yeah, sure. I'll use one of my aha points.
Okay, go ahead and use an aha point. That's fine. It'll be up to you entirely. Do you want a kitchen maid down there as well?
Oh no.
Okay, so as luck would have it, no kitchen maids volunteer.
Okay.
Okay.
Not use an aha point then.
Yeah, don't use an aha point. This was not a. Well, wait. You're not using one?
No.
Okay, then in that case, there's a kitchen maid there because you're not lucky enough to have not had a kitchen maid there. So now there's a kitchen maid there.
Are you just trying to railroad me? Do I hear a railroad here on this?
No, it's not a railroad. It was the luck would be it'll be your preference.
Oh, okay. I see.
So there's a kitchen maid and 2 very pale-looking footmen who see these bodies. The kitchen maid, you hear her kind of quietly saying, "It's just like butchering a pig is." Doctor, you inspect Corse. With your sort of success at medical knowledge, it is clear that the man died from quite a fall. You notice a lot of kind of bruising and cuts. There's a really bad injury, like on his, like a pretty rough, like back of the head wound that there's still some rock in, so that, probably did him in. But beyond that, the body is not in a condition where you can find sort of too much else about him, and honestly, this
no obvious stab wounds or anything. Just
no obvious stab wounds. No,
trauma.
You kind of it seems like just blood force trauma did the guy in. You don't really see any other. There's. It's everything you see is consistent with a fall, without like a it would be even if the guy was intoxicated, if you had a full lab or whatever, and back in this day, it's probably hard to do all that stuff anyway. So like this one's pretty clear cut. I will, however, say that you definitely sort of looking at like the injuries. In a few cases, the rocks are like jammed really into the body, and you recall as like pulling him up, there were like rocks even breaking. So you guys I would say your conclusion here, and you can be showing this to the. Are you saying all this aloud to the footman and the kitchen maid, kind of talking them through what's happening?
If they're willing to listen, then yes.
The kitchen
I
maid
assume this
is-
kitchen maid is actually very morbidly interested.
Yeah, no,
into
she'll
this.
listen. She'll listen. It's I've been sent down here to do God's duty. These two gentlemen, may rest in peace, they've been set out, so I'm here to watch. I'm here to help court and see whatever happened to them. It's fine.
Yes.
Do you need me to hand you knives?
Yes, please.
Right,
Scalpel
here's.
and whatnot.
Alright, I'll learn what their names is and I'll hand them to you as you wish them a little, and she'll just hand you knives, etc. She wouldn't say my lord. It's not that long ago. She'd just
I'm
say
not a
sir.
lord.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir. So as you sort of kind of, do you want to like go into the stomach of this guy at all? Do you find that necessary?
I don't think I need to actually cut him
Okay.
open.
Okay, cool. So you don't sort of cut him open at this point. You just kind of cut
him
around,
prop.
and he's it pretty. But what I was going to say is, so as you're showing how like there are like deeper like stab points around his body from like rocks and so rocks in there, you are very convinced that there was no bouncing on the rocks. This man hit and was where he hit.
Oh man, I'm being real graphic about it.
Yeah,
I
and
probably would do because this
Is
is
there
just,
a way he
Splat. It
would
was a
have
splat.
bounced?
this is just normal to me. It's potentially
it's
possible.
It's entirely possible you could like bounce like one or twice, but based on what you think, this was a pretty just. Speaking of which, your footmen, I'm gonna roll d6s for them. Your footmen both roll 4s. Your footmen leave, so all you have is the nurse, the kitchen maid nurse.
She's a nurse right now. She's been promoted. Wait, you need actual training in order to get the title of a nurse.
You say she's a nurse, and she immediately starts like moving a knife to the body.
Oh no.
That's fine.
Nurses don't do that.
All right, but yeah, you're pretty convinced Lord Course died on impact. That's what you would believe. The other body
All right.
on its back, there's
let's
this pearl handle still sticking out right below the clavicle.
Okay, so thoroughly dead, no other wounds. We already established no other wounds except for the knife within his neck?
Mhm.
It was his neck. All right.
No defensive wounds of any kind.
Even if fingerprint technology and all of that has already been discovered, I don't have the means of lifting fingerprints from this thing, so
Not in this case. No. And lifting fingerprints and. Do you
and I
want to
don't
try?
I don't have a database of anyone's fingerprints anyway, so it wouldn't even occur to me if the tech wasn't there.
You'd
so-
have to take everyone's fingerprints and do your own comparison. Okay, cool.
Right,
So, but
so-
you can always do it with a thing. You pull the knife out. The knife, interestingly, though sharp, is not a knife. It appears to be a letter opener,
Huh.
or like a stationary knife, like a writing knife, kind of thing you'd cut sheaves of paper with, or
Yeah.
tear open envelopes.
Huh. It's just a very decorative letter opener. Those are pretty sharp. I've known a few letter openers.
Oh no, you could really.
You kill
And
a man with those things.
they also tend to have that, like a stiletto blade where it's so thin it just slips right in. So
Yeah, since I've been in the war, I've seen bayonets, so I know this is not war fit for war, just opportunistic killing, potentially.
absolutely, yes.
All right.
Although that's actually a good point. I want you to make an intuition roll. You know what? I'm going to allow you to do an intent assessment.
Oh, okay. I rolled 3 in my first one, so I'll roll an extra one.
Mm-hmm.
2.
So you could spend 2 aha points.
I'll spend 2
to
aha
5.
points to lift it up from 3 to 5. So yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at this and you're trying to figure this out, and you go, aha. But it kind of is related to what you were just saying, but it's now a sort of clear point in your mind. A weapon of opportunity, not even a good one. To kill someone with this, you would have to really surprise them, or you know,
They were
or-
sleeping
or
or
have
what?
some jump on them or something, or sure, sleeping. It is not a, you know, it's a sharp thing. It clearly killed him. You are convinced with your investigation, with your medical knowledge roll, that he died from this wound and blood loss from this wound. But for this to have done it, this is not an obvious murder weapon. To have just jabbed this in somebody would have taken, you know.
It's also strange that he didn't try to go for help. I mean, it doesn't look like an
Stabbed in
immediate.
the neck, so
It's not stabbed in the heart.
I mean, you can't really call for help with that thing in his neck.
Maybe he was drugged.
You're not there.
Oh, it could have worked.
I haven't
Alright.
presented that possibility, but okay. Interesting. Someone caught him by surprise and murdered him, huh? Thinking this through, is there a possibility that Course committed suicide for some reason? Was he so remorseful for anything at all?
I'm gonna doubt that.
Yeah, your nurse will
I just
say,
hear Sybil's voice in my head.
yeah,
I
your
don't-
nurse will be like, a remorseful's not how I would have described the late Marquess. May his soul go to wherever it is going.
You don't even hope that
May
it
its
goes-
soul go to where it deserves.
May his soul get where it's going in good time. And may he rest in peace of pieces, as the case may be, sir.
May he rest.
May he
Oh,
rest
He's
in...
in one piece. I lift up his hand and just drop it. Yeah. Yep, dead.
But sort of, so yeah, sort of you wonder if
So, is there anything else I could see?
I mean, to that point, I mean, if you sort of like, I mean, like, obviously, like, there's some joking around in this thing, but like, if you're sort of saying that to her, and she does say something to the effect of like, he didn't seem a remorseful person, I mean, you don't believe. You'll probably want to talk this over with everyone, but like, you know, if he fell to where you found his body, maybe the winds were strong enough that somebody pushed him over and then he like flew 10 feet out or something, but it's more likely that he did jump from further off the thing.
I mean, considering the angle.
Yeah.
So here's the wall of the tower, right? He fell from the balcony, which means away from that wall, which means the wind would have been suppressed by the building. Anyway,
Oh, sure.
so
Yeah.
doubtful.
I totally thought of that.
Which means, so as you said, there's this balcony up there, right? And then there's
Yeah.
like these protrusions out
And there's kind of like
from
decorative
that
kind
edge
of
of
the,
that balcony. Yeah.
yeah.
The most likely thing is he was on that protrusion. I don't see anyone would have been able to just bring him in whatever state themselves and yeet him from there.
That is possible. Somebody could have if he was thrown or pushed from this, there was a blockbuster movie worthy fight scene on a narrow beam.
Wait, someone who does that would have to be really physically fit and balanced, like a circus performer.
Or somebody
Dun,
could
dun,
have just
dun.
pointed a gun at him and made him.
Just the classical, I got a gun here, bitch.
I got a
Get
gun.
out to that thing.
He was getting ready for his circus performance and someone Indiana Jones them in the chest.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. But I'm just thinking through for Slicket. Is there anything else we could have done? We got the murder weapon.
There is something else you notice on Slicket.
Oh.
It's a little hard to see, but you're sort of doing a certain amount of stuff. Slicket's fingers.
Oh, that's right. Did he fight back against his attacker since it was an attack of
He did not.
opportunity?
No defensive wounds. However, if you sort of like inspect his fingers, they're coated in his own blood, but below the blood, there's a fair bit of ink stains.
Ink stains. On his right hand? I'm assuming he's right-handed, right?
He is right-handed. There's a little bit there's like an errant one or two on his left hand, but mostly on his right hand, yes.
Was he writing a letter or something like that? It was interesting.
So, anything else down here?
I can't see anything else. That seems to be the case.
Wonderful. Then, Sybil, you've been given the key to your room. Baroness, I guess Norman would have asked if you would like the key to your room as well. So, the two of you, do you want to spend a moment stopping in your rooms, locking your rooms? Baroness, you would be doing this on a different floor than Sybil. Are you guys going to break and meet, or are you not going to deal with this now?
I mean, I would lock my room now, but I'm not gonna like do anything else.
You can, and it's totally on the way. Baroness, you got to cut back a little, but it's not a huge deal. If you guys both just lock your rooms, all is well.
Okay.
And you can go up to the 3rd floor, and you come to the door marked Hades.
I just open the door.
You open the door. There's a giant statue of Hades, Baroness. Describe Hades for us, Sybil.
Sexy AF.
Sexy AF.
Yeah.
He's got tons of muscle. He can shoot
Daddy.
lasers. He has a giant spear.
Look up what
He could
this
lift you with a finger.
Hades video game. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's just what it's called, Hades.
I don't even understand what women are interested in.
What you're looking at is probably not him. It might just be the main character.
Okay.
Supergiant Games is the developer.
What is okay? I
If
see
he's
Athena.
beardless, it's the
Big-ass
main
beard.
character.
He's very bad boy, isn't he?
Hades?
I
No.
wouldn't say bad boy, but
How do I
he's a-
find Hades in Hades? I keep-
Like, attractive father with an alcohol problem or something like
You
that.
probably have to go through the Hades wiki and search for
Yeah,
it.
you're gonna have to look there. It'll be a whole thing. I can show him to you later if you like.
It's fine. Wait.
Dionysus.
He has like a giant mustache and beard.
Yeah.
He has a beard.
Okay. I'm pulling this up not for no reason. I'm trying to determine what % accurate this can be for the Hades statue you see.
Doesn't matter what you're gonna tell me. It looks like there's what I'm seeing in my head, and it's gonna compete with whatever you say.
A fair point. Okay. If this, I'm surprised. I'm surprised this guy's described as hot AF. I'll be honest, but cool. I'm glad you found
Someone
something.
for everyone.
Many people for everyone. Okay. There's a statue of Hades here in Hades. The rain still falls outside. This room sort of like large sort of suite. There's a big bed kind of towards the back, unused. There's a bathroom, private bathroom. There is a little sitting area and a bar area.
Hmm.
You also, Baroness, are now seeing out onto that balcony. The rain kind of doing those like sheets of rain as they kind of glide across.
Is there a desk or stuff where he would doing? Because you said that there was a study here too.
There is a desk indeed.
Yeah, I would like to. We should look through those drawers over here.
Okay. Well, if you look through the drawer, is there a planner or anything on the top, like a stationary pad or anything like that?
There's a bunch of paper on the top. There are a couple of like papers and like an out tray type thing that he's been working on. And there are drawers. So as the Baroness starts looking through the drawers, you mostly just see various writing, materials, a few odds and ends. There's also a little revolver in the drawer.
Does it revolver look like that anybody took it out recently, or was it you?
It doesn't. I mean, somebody could have taken it out and put it back. It's not like it's fairly organized in the drawer, but it's down there. It's not like sitting on top or something.
Any place where somebody like out of Fuzz Bottom, some secret place, then somebody would
You
like...
can go ahead and roll Go ahead and do a sticky fingers roll on that. We'll let you use your dexterity there. Sybil, that's a
Just
roll
2d6?
2d6. Just roll
Okay.
2d6 and see if you can get a 5 or higher.
Oh,
on
a
either one.
5 and a 5.
Oh, wow. Then give yourself an aha point. And you confidently find no false bottom in the drawers. But you are sure of it. You know you've missed nothing. Sybil. The notes that he's writing seem very boring and dry about like land easements. Maybe some sea easements. It's all easements.
Do I see any paper that looks like our invitations?
An excellent question. I'm gonna tell you, Sybil. It's really hard for me when characters have the same letters. You look at all. No rolls required. There's a roll you could make, and also please ask me if you want to do anything specific. But if you look through the paper that's here, there's like 2 kind of stacks of paper, and you see some more on like a couple of little side things of like the blank paper. None of it is the kind that your invitation was written on.
Does the writing that's on any of his paperwork, match the writing that's on the invitations?
It
Or at least
does.
my invitation?
And
So, okay,
Slickett's.
so it's the same writing.
It's the same handwriting.
And there's no like journals or anything. Like there's no more blank paper in the drawers that Baroness has been going through.
Baroness has not found paper in there. It's more just like implements and a few sort of,
Is there a letter opener on the desk?
Well, no, it's in Slicket. Well, not in Slicket anymore.
Neither of you are specifically looking for a letter opener up here.
Okay, is
But
there anything?
why don't you both make a luck roll for me?
Okay. What is it? D6, right?
It is a d6.
Oh, 5.
7.
You both kind of going through. Perhaps you seeing the weapon or the sort of Baroness, you do notice that revolver, and probably Sybil saw it as well, so that's not hidden. So kind of thinking of weapons, maybe you both kind of have the lucky thought of like, oh, is there any? You don't see any knives or letter openers amongst like the tools on top.
Is there anything that has the set? Looks like it could be in a set.
You have not seen the
We
body,
did.
so I'm not going to allow you
Oh, she
to
did.
note that. But
Yeah, but
since
I'm not
she
thinking about
did-
that.
No, but you had a luck. That was what your luck was.
Oh, fair enough.
As it happens, there is a magnifying glass, which at the time people would use just like for writing, like it's not only for detectives. There's a magnifying glass that has the exact same pearl handle as that knife you saw sticking out of Slicket.
I'm gonna take that, I guess. And I guess, I'm not just sitting in silence while looking through this stuff with the Baroness. I will tell her, like, oh, I think this is the same type of handle that I saw
Oh,
in Slicket.
really? Fascinating. Yes, I think they killed each other. That's the only explanation.
I don't know about only, but it is
Well.
an explanation, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll
Uh,
give you that.
So I want to do technically 2 more things, but is there anywhere in this room that looks like there might be a safe?
Many places you could check.
Any
And
paintings on the wall?
a couple paintings on the wall, a couple things like that. And in fact, no rolls are required. As you look around, there is a painting behind the bar. It's a real manly painting of a horse. When in doubt, have a painting
Horse?
of a ship.
In a
or painting of
manly
horse.
painting of a horse.
It's just very masculine to have a painting of like a horse
Oh,
or a
Of course it
ship. Of your family, not masculine.
That tracks with
Real
his
men.
worldview.
Put Uma Musume. That's
Stop.
the real men.
Stop immediately. Absolutely not. I refuse.
So, behind that painting, you kind of, and as you sort of tug on the edges of that painting, it slides open. And there is a safe behind it.
Oh, is it
Like a turning thing.
combination lock? or key?
Combination lock is the words I was looking for.
Is it a turning? It is a combination, yes.
Mm.
Okay. I have to ask, does that count as lock picking or is that a different skill?
That's safe cracking and lock picking are very close together. Here's
But, like-
here's what I'll say.
I'm not gonna argue either way. I just want to know what, like,
It is. I will allow you to do lock picking, which I really didn't realize you had until you just asked that. So, but it is to try to do the lock pick version. It's a process. It will take you like an hour or two. But what else you doing? It's raining.
Do you think it's possible that maybe he written down the numbers?
He's
Or
old.
maybe
He
could
probably
somehow
did.
guess?
it's on a post-it on his monitor.
Look under the stapler. Look under the
Well,
stapler. It's there.
I would
100%.
think that one person remembers numbers, but who knows?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it.
We
You
can
know
look
it.
through
I
his
know
notes for sure.
Is there anything on the horse painting that could give a clue?
The post-it behind the painting.
Let's see. Let's see.
Maybe.
The horse has 3 legs on the ground, and then there are 16 trees behind it, and 37 mushrooms next. No,
Oh,
We're going full Resident Evil and the puzzles there.
Well, it could be like a really numbers in the corner of the painting. Come on.
You do not see any
1985 or some 1856 when it
You-
was painted.
You do not see any numbers on the painting, but you have found a safe.
Okay.
Well, she can start lockpicking. I'll just search through the desk again.
That's
for a
not going to be my
number.
go-to if it's going to take a couple of hours. I'm going to look at the papers with you. But
Okay.
while we're looking, I do want to ask the Baroness. Baroness, I hope you don't mind me asking. Were you at all threatened to come here in any way this weekend? Like it was
there
threatened.
some strangeness in the invitation, but I assume it's just the way of the Marquise. I don't know. Have you felt like under some sort of pressure?
No, I wouldn't say that I was under pressure,
I don't know, I
but
think it was just some.
I do think the Marcus thinks he knows something that I don't even know. So
Oh, I had that impression as well. Interesting. Very, very strange man he was. And that Mr. Snicket, too.
do you mind if I ask what he was in your invitation?
Oh, what was in my invitation? Oh, some nonsense about. Oh, I don't even recall it. I have thrown it away. I'm afraid it was some strange. It wasn't even anything actual words, just like motions of this misdoings or misdeeds or falsehoods, which I did not understood.
But you came anyway.
Oh, well, it's a nice country house. Why wouldn't I come? And Lady Amelia is a dear friend of mine.
I
I have
suppose so.
not realized that her husband was such, how shall I say it?
A villain.
Well, I would say an unpleasant fellow.
Call him a real piece of shit.
Real-
A bit of a villain. I agree with you, my dear. But if I propose anything pertaining to you, I promise I will not disclose it to anyone. I'm sure it would be an utter falsehood anyway. It's
I don't
not-
know. I don't know what he knows. I just felt
I think it's all just some scandal mongering. I fear some nonsense.
there's still no post-it with the password.
There is no post-it with a password.
Is there a bedside table?
There are bedside tables. You have not searched the bed area yet.
I would like to search the entire bed area, tables, under the
Understood.
mattresses, over the
Understood.
mattresses,
you
inside the
guys-
mattresses.
Look under the mattress, over inside. You do find two things of note.
Yeah.
In the bedside table, there's a smashed photograph face down, the glass shattered.
Like in the drawer.
Yes.
A photograph of what?
A family photograph. It's a picture of Corse sitting there with kind of like in a chair, the Marchioness next to him, his daughters standing up behind him, but they're they're a fair bit younger, but they're all still like basically adults. Then you have, or like late teens to adults. Then kind of on either knee in front of him, about 3 or 4 years old, you have Odette and Joey, you would assume. Odette looks, it's honestly her mother, and Vivian and Gladys like really do look like, it's like seeing them younger. It's like, oh wow, they all do like look like Odette. Like these girls, they have a thing. Joey has that sort of like much hair of gold, hair of blonde, whatever he has this sort of thing. Although it's kind of like a faded sepia tone, so you can see his hair.
Is Joey the only blonde one in the whole family?
He is.
How interesting. Why, these things often skip a generation. Joey looks so much different than his sisters, but of course he's a boy, so one could expect that, right? Does
What
not
her
look
hair was
much like his father either. Oh well, he was young. What do you think?
I'm sure I don't know what you're saying.
Of course. Of course, nothing. I'm sure it's nothing.
What's
The
the
other
second
thing
thing?
you find is a small, very small sort of book. Kind of like a moleskin journal, those that size. And it's hardback, pretty thin. This is slipped between the headboard and the wall.
Is it a written injury? Is it the paper that our invitations came on?
It is not the paper your invitations came on.
Is there anything written in the journal?
There is a lot written in it in a very sort of small hand. It does appear to be Lord Corse's hand. It is a list of dates and amounts. The dates are all about 24 years ago. Actually, they range even before that a bit.
And amounts like money amounts, or
All of them,
Amounts, money amounts in pounds, yes.
but nothing since the last 24 years.
No. Interestingly, though, no, I'm going to have you do, both of you make a knowledge roll as you look this over. And if you have any specific, well, I don't think, let me
My
look at
knowledge,
yeah,
knowledge,
neither of you would have a
knowledge.
specific thing for this.
Oh,
I got a 4. But if she doesn't make it, can I use an aha point?
I got a 2, so yeah, you have.
Yeah.
You can use one aha point. The
Extra credit.
The thing that's interesting, though. Oh, you know what? No, it'll be extra credit. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. This kind of would be intuition, but I'm actually going to say because it's such a specific numerical thing, it had to be knowledge. But I'll allow you now, kind of like your Oh my God! Actually, wait. I'll give you even more information because
Vibe check.
read the extra legal element.
Yes. Okay. So what do I do? Oh, but then
You
it wouldn't even
roll.
be a knowledge roll, right? I have to roll
No.
a different die altogether.
You do. So you made the knowledge, but because
Okay.
of your mental thing, there was this aha
Got it.
moment, and now you're bearing down with your reading, with your vibe check.
So am I doing 2 d12s or no?
Roll 2d12s, and if either one is over 5, congratulations. If they're both over 5, you get an aha point back.
Donk.
A 10 and a 7.
Donks,
Very good.
baby.
And so that means
Top of the class.
that means you've passed the pass-fail binary. Way to go.
I don't have to. I took the test. That means I don't have to take the prerequisite. I can just go
You
straight
test it
to
out.
the
yeah.
next class. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Test it out of Murder Solving 101. Now it's 201.
you look through this little journal. These dates are all from 24 years ago, but they are not in order. The amounts of money vary somewhat wildly. You notice, though, as you begin putting two and two together, the earliest dates were smaller amounts of money. And then as time went, they became larger. And Sybil, you realize that this is someone putting something together over time after the fact. This is not a ledger that someone was keeping while something was happening. This is someone looking back over things and realizing this date was this amount of money. And then a little bit later said, this date was this amount of money. There are also bursts of them you can just tell by like ink color, and the entries are not dated, but you can tell that there were sort of bursts of information, and then, you know, an entry would trickle in here or there. So you suspect that this is, and you're kind of doing almost the opposite of a vibe check. This is probably not someone's record of what they did. This is someone's
But
record
they discovered.
of what they slowly pieced together that someone was doing.
Okay.
The dates range from 26 to 24 years ago.
Okay.
Are you gonna share this with me
Yeah,
or not?
I would. Yeah. Do you mind if I hang on to this journal?
No, dear. Go ahead.
But yeah, I would
Oh.
definitely share.
I wonder if I should hang on to this photograph. It might.
Sorry, when you say a smashed photograph, is it like a crumpled?
The glasses.
No, it's
The-
like it's like a desk frame, and it was
Okay.
smashed face down.
Okay.
Maybe you can that.
From what she told me, can I do any additional deduction roll, or that would be?
I
Or
don't.
is it-
From what she told you,
Mhm.
no, I think that's how much I think you guys have gotten
Okay.
the secrety thing.
About how many dates and stuff are in here?
About 20 or 30 instances. On a few occasions, there's two things on the same day. Two separate things. That rarely
Oh.
happens twice in a row, though. Almost as if, well,
Oh.
yeah.
Perplexing. Should we maybe look into the bathroom as well? Who knows? Maybe
We
there's
can
something.
definitely look. I don't know that I want to find anything in the bathroom, but yes, we can look.
Well, I can do it myself if you don't feel up to it.
I mean, I'll go. I'm just all sorts of
Alright.
terrifying things in an old
You guys-
person's
Yes,
bathroom.
it's
You
a little
guys-
bit.
Guys go into the bathroom. There's a powder room, but as this is a British thing, bathroom literally means room with a bathtub in it. So there is this kind of old-fashioned clawfoot bathtub. A little powder room on the side. Tiled. Some light coming.
Are there
from the
any
window on the side of the room.
bathrobes around? Bathrobe, a dressing gown?
I guess
or
there probably
something?
would be dressing gowns hanging neatly. Towels
Any?
folded, pressed.
Do they have pockets? Anything in the pockets?
If you look through the pockets, you don't find anything. You suspect they've all been freshly laundered from a day before, so they're unused. In other words, the room's been cleaned.
And I would just like to check one thing: the door to the balcony.
Okay.
I would be careful if you're going out there. It's hard to stand on for a strong person.
Oh, I don't intend to go out. I would like to just test something. I would like to open the door and
Okay.
see if the wind will just blow it closed by itself.
Ah, interesting. It does not.
Hmm.
A good thing to test.
That is,
Yeah, go ahead, Baroness.
yeah. No,
I feel, I feel like this should be an option.
okay.
Because typically you guys find any clues, but some clues I've made harder to find clues. But there's one clue that I might have made a little too hard to find that I think would be helpful. So, if someone would like, Sybil, something's gnawing at you. If you'd like to spend 3 aha points.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, done. Yeah.
All right. You're kind of in the bathroom, and you're like, something about this bathroom's weird, or you're feeling like you just missed something and you were looking around. You have this overwhelming urge. It appears to have been cleaned. To just get into the bathtub.
I feel like I need therapy if that's my urge.
Do you tell me that you feel like that?
Oh, no, I don't even know what I'd say at this point. So yeah, I'm just gonna crawl in weirdly.
As you kind of
Oh,
like, you're
dear.
looking
What are
around
you
and like
doing?
you're, you know, she walks back into the bathroom and just looks around and then something's odd. You get into the bathtub. You lean back. And when you get into a position and look up, you notice that in the tile mosaic above you, there are some numbers.
No.
Numbers.
No, oh my god. All right. Does it match the little safe?
If you look at the numbers and go to the safe now will open.
Yeah. Oh man, old people.
You knew it. He had to put the post-it somewhere. He put
What?
it
Yeah, I know,
the
right?
bathroom tiles.
Because
What-
he couldn't
Use it.
remember the numbers. Come on. How did
What are the numbers? Like, does it look like it could be like someone's birthday or anything?
The numbers,
or they just
Mason.
kind of look like.
What do they mean?
They seem random. They seem random
Okay.
to the point that I never created them. I
Got it.
probably could
Fair
have.
enough.
It was just a thing of like, will you find where they're hidden? And
If it was like his favorite daughter's birthday that he still couldn't remember, so he put it up there.
He doesn't
No,
have
okay.
a favorite daughter. It'd
He's
be
got-
just
no.
heroes.
He
Favorite
absolutely
all
has
equally.
a favorite.
That-
It's just still a
birthday of
shitty
his
thing.
No,
son.
that-
Hate it.
Yeah.
So
All right. What's in the
so-
safe? What's in the box?
in the safe,
What's in a box?
there are in fact, several sort of large notebooks.
Does it match the invitation paper?
It does.
You're really
not.
stuck on that paper.
And
Okay.
oh, Sybil. Oh shoot! I just made you use all your aha points.
You did make me use all my aha points.
Can I use my aha points?
You don't care about the paper the way she does. Sybil. These appear to be large, sort of, it's like binders of that. This does appeal to be like clippings of information about people. It appears to be like little notes that he's written in his hand that you recognize from the little small book you found and the notes on his desk. It appears to be blackmail material on various people.
Is it more than just the people that are here this weekend?
You don't see anything on the people who are here this weekend.
Fucking what?
You don't see anything on you don't know, you don't find a kind of a quick look through, you don't. It seems to be like organized in alphabetical order. You don't find anything about Sybil Wilson, anything about Immortal Ivan or John Steinberg, nothing about Reginald Huntington Smythe, nothing about Dr. Gordon, nothing about a Sophia Esterhaus. You see nothing.
To be fair, it wouldn't be Sybil's name in there.
True. You don't find anything there either.
Okay.
I wouldn't want this material falling.
Well, what about
into the wrong
Slicket?
hands.
You look at the
Is there
name
anything-
Slicket. You see nothing under the name Slicket.
How about Thomas More?
You don't know that
I don't
name.
know.
Oh shit.
And we never learned what Slicket's real name was, right?
You don't know.
You
it,
two
no.
haven't.
You two haven't.
No.
Ivan and Reginald and the guy know.
Yeah.
And I am going to even perhaps say that as you find this you find this thing and you're like, aha! And you look through it and you're like, what the F? I do feel that we've gotten to a point where everyone has found what they're going to find on their own. And this kind of... Good.
How big are the journals?
They're like big, thick binders. There's like 6
And how
of them.
how many are there?
6 there. It's
6?
like a lot of info. Yeah.
Would it be weird for Sybil to take them?
I mean, it's a murder investigation.
Then Sybil's taking them. Yeah,
Understood.
taking.
So as you pull them out,
I wonder if they should be just destroyed.
Maybe at some point, but not now.
Do not let them fall into the wrong hands.
What makes you think
Sometimes-
I'm not the wrong
Oh.
hands?
Well, another person, to use them the same way as the Marquis apparently used them.
I'll make sure they're destroyed before we all leave the island.
so as you come downstairs with binders full of blackmail dirt, but not on anyone you see here this weekend, as
And there's nothing else in the safe, to be clear. it was
there's
just these
probably some
binders.
like money and jewelry and stuff, but nothing that seems relevant to this.
Okay.
Yes, nothing. There would be nothing else in that safe. As you guys carry those things down, as the doctor comes up, wiping his hands off of having touched the dead, as Ivan kind of has managed to pocket a couple of pieces of paper and wanders out of the chamber with Reginald and Arthur, who really want to go, or Reginald and Joey, who want to go make sure that guy Arthur's tied up again. Reginald doesn't. Joey does. I think that as we prepare for you all to come together with this information, I think that's where we're going to call it a night.
Right.
The plot thickens, and let's just take this. If we're going to do this at a slow pace, let's just do this at a slow pace. Well, thank you all so much. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's session. This is a kind of a fun, slow burn, very different kind of game. Interesting. Does anyone have theories now? Are you more confused than when you started?
The second one.
Interesting.
Well, based
I mean-
on
I have some ideas.
I have new questions, I guess I
Yeah.
should be saying. I don't know that I have new theories, but I have new questions.
For sure, for sure. Well, we will. Well, I think next week we'll kind of start with all of you reconvening, and you can disclose. Everyone can disclose what was learned in their respective, searches. Go
I
ahead.
do have a question, though, since
Please.
you did make me burn through my aha points.
Mhm.
Next week, can I just use one to figure out what I couldn't figure out today because I ran out?
No. Perhaps there will be more organic ways for you to find out that information.
Okay, fair enough.
But yes, well, thank you all so much for playing. Thanks everyone for watching. We got a bunch of crazy games here on this channel. Go to our About page to see what our players are up to. Go to our Discord. We do cool stuff on Discord. I will mention that this coming Friday, there is no Blood from a Stone. Instead, on account of how everyone on our channel is a Star Trek, is a Trek talker. Is that Trek Talk? Is that what they call it? It's like TikTok for Star Trek nerds? I don't know. We're doing a Star Trek one-shot on this Friday, so join us for that. Saturday, we have a new game. It's not a game. Keep calling it a game. We have a talk show called Long Lost Loves that Lauren and Liv are doing. about, I don't know, stuff they liked as kids. I say that like dismissively. I think it's going to be very entertaining. I'm sure that I hear the two of them talking a lot after games, and it's always very upsetting and funny. Go to on Sunday we have a new Star Wars game starting called A More Wretched Hive. That is Pierce is the living force for that, and I'm a player. And then on Monday, she can hear me. And then on Monday, we have our second session of Civilized Age, a Star Wars game in which I am the Cosmic Force. What? Ooh, GM title change. That's weird. So yeah, please join us for all of that fun stuff. I think that's all. I think that's all the fun things I have to mention. I don't know. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about or say, or recriminations they want to make, complaints they have about how I keep not giving you the information you want in this game? I feel that if KJ does not find the paper that those invitations were written on, she riots. If she doesn't find it next session, she's out.
I mean, I can just. Do you want me to just ask why I'm looking? I don't know. Do you want me to talk about it now, or?
You're welcome to. I think I know why you want to, but go ahead.
I don't know. So it's just like, if the paper isn't any one of his numerous types of paper, then that means someone is helping him blackmail everyone.
Interesting.
And whoever, because he had to get the paper from somewhere. Like, if it's not just one of his regular papers, someone gave him paper. And then if all of our, if not even like, all of our maybe kind of sort of blackmail isn't in any of these friggin' binders, then there must be another binder, or someone else is blackmailing us, and the Marquess is just like, it just implies there's a second person, all of this. And that's so upsetting.
There's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot going on.
All in on it.
What if?
Yeah, at least a second person, if it's not a family thing to blackmail people together. I don't know.
We blackmail as a family. Well, it
was a group effort.
It was a group effort. It was a team effort. We get it. We get them started young.
I think the women were in it too, because they were acting suspicious there.
Not just the women, but the children too.
Except Odette. They kept Odette away because they didn't want her to know about it.
But Odette knows something. She was going to say something and then didn't.
And of course there's Joy, who is not really the Marquis' son, but I'm pretty sure they want to keep that secret.
Right. I wanted to ask, what color is Slicket's hair? Everyone would have known this, but I don't think it was ever mentioned.
Did people dye their hair at this point? Is that a thing?
People would not have dyed their hair at this point.
Okay.
Slicket was certainly balding, but Slicket had very light hair.
Good to know. Very well.
I will include that in the recap by saying, I'll mention that the doctor will note that as he's doing his auto spies. Great.
Auto spies.
Well, with that, many things to think about, to consider. I will say thank you to all of my players. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks to The Rose Explodes. You're always listening, like Big Brother. And yeah, definitely check out Long Lost Loves on Saturday, and all the other things I said. Wonderful. All right, so until next time, I will close with the words I totally remember that I used to end this game. The game is afoot. I did it. Look at that. All right, good night, everybody.